Ooh, 1 2 1 2. Okay, I think this is coming out of my Logitech, which is not good. Hello everyone. Hope you can hear me. Let me go to live scene. Double click, right? No, hasn't switched. Right. Transition. Okay, there it is. Okay, that should work. All right, I'm going to try to fix my microphone. For some reason, it's not working. Yeah, let me see. I have a new configuration, and sadly, it's not working well. Let's go to settings here, audio. Aha, there it is. There are a few. Let's try that. 1 2. Is that better? Hopefully it is. Hello everyone, how's it going? Really glad to be with you all today. Hopefully you can now hear me on a better microphone. Hopefully, we'll see if that's the truth. Let me see. Properties. All right, let's try it. Oh, that's better? Worse? I don't know. Save. How do I save this? No, still not working. All right. Oh, all right. Hello, hello. Oh, okay. Desktop audio device, speakers, mic. That should work better, hopefully. Right? Maybe. Oh. Okay, I think that's better. I think so. Hopefully. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me fine? I'm going to just go into my YouTube myself. I'm going to just try to listen to myself. Just make sure that it's working. Sorry, a few glitches here. Let's go my channel, and then let's go to the live, and let's hear it. I'm going to just go into my YouTube. Go to settings here. Oh yeah, it's way better. Okay, perfect. We can start. Awesome. All right. Okay. So today is going to be probably going to be about an hour. We're starting at minute 4, so let's just make sure that the timestamps are ready for all of this. And we're going to go over some updates. It's going to be a heavy update live stream on a lot of the phones that are upcoming now in the last quarter of the year, or that are hoping to come in the last quarter of the year. So bear with me. Fixing audio 004 30, probably been 30 seconds. Start of the stream. We'll go over questions, so make sure to put your questions in the chat. We'll go over that as much as we can, and yeah, of course, try to get as much information as possible out there to you guys on the different projects. But yeah, so just FYI that we're going to be talking a lot of the updates, a lot of the things that have happened over the last few months. And I want to start with the Sunbeam F1, actually. The Sunbeam F1 is getting an upgrade. It's going to be a nice upgrade on the current version. So the current version has a lot of the really nice kind of like features like Waze. It does have a good operating system, and it now will have email. So it's a I believe it's a text-based only client, and it's going to be called the Sunbeam Wireless Eagle .com. Let me see if I can find it. I found it the other day. Somebody posted it, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" You know, like a lot of people are kind of like into the Sunbeam F1. Some people really like it. Some people don't, and that's okay. It's not for everybody. But they are going to be introducing a new version, which is going to be the Sunbeam F1 Eagle. I saw it on the Dumbphones, subreddit, and I was really happy to see that there's a new version in the works. I think it's coming in January, and it's kind of like something that, hey, like it's going to be a very welcome upgrade to the community, I think. So let me showcase that to you. Oh, I am showcasing that to you already. I think I already put the screen capture. Is that correct? Okay. Okay, give me a second, guys, because like this is not supposed to. Oh, okay. Is this? Okay, there it is. So now it's faster, right? There's no transition. There's no split screen. It's just doing it. I hope that's better. So yes, Sunbeam F1 Horizon, the Eagle version. It will have flip phone with email, hotspot, and Waze. Right now, of course, it's out of stock because it's not ready to be purchased. But it's coming around January 1. We'll see this new thing. It has the music player, the weather, the Google's Waze capabilities, all of the good stuff that we're used to. And I can show you here. So as you see right here, this is the Sunbeam F1. It has the very fast operating system optimized for this device. It also has the touchscreen, and of course, it comes with all of the features that I said, like weather, navigation, Waze, if that's what you need. It does have the ability to have a keyboard on the screen and also outside on the T9. So there are some of those really nice things. You have the messages, of course, so you can use it. Give me 1 second. I think I have not cleared this one. Delete all conversations. Yeah, because I use this for testing, and I used it for my personal device for a few days. So I want to make sure that we are not showing anybody's personal contacts. But as you see right here, it does have a good T9 engine. It does have triple click, whichever way you want to use, and it does have the ability to kind of like have the best of both worlds. So you can have that, or you can have a quick reply, attach media, right? With this key right here, you switch to QWERTY keyboard, T9, ABC, emoji. I mean, that's something that is just nice to have the ability to type in different modes. And of course, it does also have the ability to do voice to text, which again is something that is very, very good. So again, it's going to have this new phone, the Sunbeam F1 Horizon Eagle. Is going to have a text-based only email. I assume that means they're going to somehow block attachments from coming into the device, like videos and that kind of stuff, since the device technically doesn't support some of those things. I don't know how they're going to do that, but that's essentially what they're trying to do. So first update is about the Sunbeam F1, and I'm kind of excited. Like, I'm really excited about it because let me put the timestamp. Because I think it's going to help a lot of you who need email for whatever reason. Let it be work, let it be relaying information with colleagues, etc., etc. I think it's just going to have a good impact overall. Let's go into the next update. Next update is I've been doing a further testing on the Freetel Mode 1. This is a great device for those of you. I've been charging these, so I think it's turned off. The Freetel Mode Retro 1 or Retro 2, Mode 1, Retro 2, something like that. Japanese device, very nice, super stylish to a degree, and I've liked a lot of the kind of like software. The charger, be delicate with it. That's one of the weakest points when it comes to the hardware of this device, but it has been quite a joy to use, and I am personally liking it. So this is just like a small update on that. I'm kind of excited to continue testing it, but it has had a very positive effect because, especially if you are outside of the United States, this device has pretty much everything that you need. It does have T9 if you want it. It does have extra applications for work if that's what you want. It comes with the Play Store. It does have Google Assistant and like Android Auto. So I've been testing a lot of those things and it has been quite positive, quite actually really nice to use. Very snappy, very fast, very good for those of you who need something of like a middle ground device. So let's just say Freetel mode Retro 2. And I think it's going to be a good compromise if you have been thinking about one. They're a little bit more on the expensive side, you know, at around $349, but you can get them unlocked from Japan. And if you travel to Japan, you can actually get them for cheaper. But if you don't travel to Japan often, then, you know, paying the money is worth it. I've had good experience with it. But one thing to look into is the charger. The charging point is a weaker point. I did have some finicky issues with it, but just treat it with care. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Then the phone has a touchscreen, so you can kind of go around and do whatever you want. As you see right there, it has Spotify. You can connect it to Wi-Fi and have pretty much any application that you need. So it's quite a nice device. Again, very stylish, very nice to use, very nice in the hand as well. Like, you know, I mean, I've enjoyed using it. Let me punch out a little bit more. So I've enjoyed using it, and it's quite nice, quite very good to kind of use it. So if you're looking for something in the middle of the road, very good device. All right, now next set of updates, we're going to talk about the minimal phone. A lot of you always ask about that, so let me put the timestamp for that. So about 12:30. Minimal phone update. They are still not shipping as far as I know. And the project has gotten some traction. Let me go into the Reddit. And then the minimal company. I was looking for some updates yesterday to see what has happened. And essentially, as you see right here on the screen, they have kind of like a typing demo for Discord. So the phone is technically, and I would say it has been produced, right? So as you see right here, this is a production for the phone. I assume it has, you know, some sort of completion time still to go. But at this point, what I want you to focus on is the following. So I'm still not pre-ordering it myself. Is it that one? No, different. Minimal company, I think is company. Minimal company, live more, scroll less. So a few things I want to showcase on this. They're still pre-ordering from November to December is supposedly their next ship date, but they still haven't met their date. They have about 7 days to meet their date to start shipping devices. And I assume it's going to start shipping to a few backers here and there. But what you need to see is like the reliability of the device. So I'm going to show the video again from the Discord, or like what, you know, their marketing is great, like, you know, a lot of things. The device is technically made, but like I want you to notice the difference between the render, right, and the actual device. So here the keys look more flat, or like, you know, they or like more raised. They seem to have some sort of texture, but here, at least to my eyes, it looks a little bit like, you know, like the travel is not there, like the performance is not fully there. As you see, look at the amount of key presses, right? So typing works. It's delayed for some of the sending button, and some of the animations are still not there. And this is normal. I actually I'm not knocking them for this. I just want to make sure that whoever pre-orders makes sure that they pre-order knowingly that they are not going to be disappointed with what they're going to get. Because essentially what they're getting is a device that, for, you know, one way or another, doesn't have the best performance because it's based out of a little bit of an older architecture for the device. And it's a little bit of an older processor and it is an e-ink screen. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult to actually use it than, most people think. So I just want you to, if you're going to pre-order this, it seems like it's happening. The company has been showcasing some of these things. Here is clearly 3 produced devices, but I want you to focus on the performance and not necessarily on is this real or not? And like I said before, there were some concerns in the past, but clearly they have been putting out a lot of information. They, I think, have a Discord for members specifically, which I think is a good thing. If you're a backer. But I'm personally not backing it yet. And the reason why is because I still haven't seen a full demo. I still haven't seen full performance. And I want to see if they fulfilled their responsibility to their initial backers. And it's just not I want to see how the performance looks before I give this smartphone, which is a smartphone. It is definitely more of a minimal smartphone because of the e-ink screen or that kind of stuff. But it is a smartphone nonetheless. It has all the apps. It has all the abilities. You could argue this one right here, the Free Mode Retro 2, it is a smartphone. It just isn't a flip phone form factor. But there is a difference for me in the package. So the package makes a difference for me because the way that the package is maybe done or promoted makes a difference in the usage, right? So if you are somebody that uses their phone a lot, having a flip phone, having something that doesn't have the ability to just be there and show you notifications, instead you have to open it up, and kind of finick around with it, is going to reduce your usage. Whereas when you have a smartphone, let me see if I have right here. When you have a smartphone, the screen real estate is there just to show you, hey, here it is. You can get notifications and whatnot. This is a tester phone from a company that I don't think they're producing them anymore, but I'll kind of go over it. Okay, perfect. Let me do some Q&A, and then we'll get to the next phone update that we're going to be doing. So yeah, let's put the questions. Let's see, there's a few over there, and then we'll go over more things when it comes to and if you have specific questions about the phones that I have mentioned so far, of course, you can put in there and we'll be talking about them. But essentially, Minimal Phone is on track. It seems to be on track, but I will just be careful that you are not putting too much hype in it because there are still a lot of things to be done. So 18 minutes, Q&A 1. All right. Let's see. What do you guys have? Okay, so are we having fun yet? Yeah, we are. So sorry I was a little late. I was having a conversation with a friend at the dog park, and then I came in. So any update on Livestream? Yes. Let me show you. They are going to be coming with their campaign very soon. So for those of you that don't know, Livestream is a kind of similar idea on the device, a mindful device, a small device that only has the bare necessities. So right here, calls and text, messaging, payments, music, podcast, navigation, and Wi-Fi hotspot. No more than that. None of the things you don't. No web browser, no news, no social media, or anything else that distracts you. It has a color e-ink display, incredible battery life, and all of these good things, like a compact size, as you see right there. So as far as I know, and as I've been told, I've been shown, I can only share with you certain things, of course, but essentially the device is going to be on a Kickstarter quite soon. And they are working on pricing and finalizing some of these little things here and there. So it's going to be, I think, a good device. I think it's going to be a good device if it can get funded. They are not trying to get on anything in specific that they're not trying to maybe cheapen the device, but they're also not trying to charge as much. So they're trying to find a good compromise that allows them to ship the device as soon as possible, while at the same time have a little bit of have a little bit of time to actually deliver on the phone. So I've been in contact with them. I've been hearing a few things here and there. and they are hopefully going to release a Kickstarter campaign within the next month. If I'm not mistaken, that's kind of like their target. So that's where they're at. Brave Star says, hopefully got some insight into Mudita Kompakt updates. I do. I can only share certain things with you guys, of course. But you know, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit about that. I'll dedicate a Mudita Kompakt section into that specific thing. All right. Let's see more questions. I want to know if HMD will make a better flip phone with no internets or apps. I would love that. No, they won't. Don't expect it, Jake. They are not interested in making better flip phones. They're interested in making the same flip phone that they have always made and not updating it until it dies. Buying a Nokia device or an HMD device is essentially you get what you get and don't ask for anything less, anything more than that. That's essentially what it is at this point, which kind of leads to your second question. If I reviewed the Barbie phone, hmd.com. Not yet. So the Barbie phone is currently out of stock, so I haven't been able to get my hands into one. But I can tell you that there are some significant differences between the HMD version in the United States and the HMD version in the UK or somewhere else. And I'll show you a few things about that. Let me see if I can change the... Here it is. I think it's here. Let's go to Germany. I think that should be fine. Es gibt kein Gerät, das deinen Kriterien spricht. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Oh, it's not showing it for some reason. Okay, we're going to change it from that to the UK probably. Let's see. United Kingdom. Feature phones. There it is. Barbie phone. So first of all, let's see specs right here. So I can show you. Let's go to some of the specs that kind of matter. Yeah, memory and storage. Okay, so as you see right here, let's go to the specs here as well. So a few different things, right? As you see, the Barbie phone in Europe is based out of the 2660 design and also the operating system. So the internal storage for the European version is 128 megabytes. Micro SD card support up to 32, and the RAM is 64 megabytes. In the United States, it's 4 gigs of storage, which is like, I don't even know how many quintuples of memory difference. I think it's probably around 10, 20, 30, 40? Like 40 times more memory on the United States version. The micro SD card support is the same, and the RAM is quite significant, going from 64 to 512. And the reason why is because the operating system is different. So the operating system here says S30 plus, but we know that that is code for Thread X. It's essentially just a very basic operating system with no apps, no anything extra. Whereas in the United States, it does have KaiOS 3.1. So it's going to differ greatly in my review because it's going to just be completely different. It's like a completely different platform. They're two completely different phones. And I don't think you should buy the Barbie phone expecting the same performance in those regions, because the performance in the United States is going to be so much better to a degree. It's going to have way more availability for applications, even if it's just the basic ones that are on KaiOS, faster performance. It's going to be definitely, it's going to look different. So maybe right here. So as you see, they don't show some of the kind of like icons and stuff like that because I don't think they have customized them. But here on the version, it's kind of like, oh yeah, look at these cute different icons all in pink. I am not expecting that to happen in KaiOS, the KaiOS version. So it's going to be quite interesting to review because in the UK and France and all the parts in Europe, it's going to look completely different than the one that you have here in the United States. I hope it's similar enough, like with the icons or like that kind of stuff. I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how it performs. But again, I still don't have access to it because here in the United States, it's still kind of like out of stock. They had a pre-sale, I think, today or yesterday. And I wasn't like, trying to like get there to, I review phones when they come to me. I don't try to like be the first one to review it. I try to be as thorough as I can instead of just like, oh yeah, I got it. And like, I'll buy into the hype. This phone is not going to revolutionize the industry. It's going to probably sell a few thousands, here and there, especially because of the hype with the Barbie and the colors. But sadly, it's not going to be any different than the 2780 or the 2660 in the UK. So don't expect it to be any different. And I already have reviews on those. So that's why I'm not like super into like, oh my gosh, I need to get it right now, because it doesn't have different RAM. It doesn't have different, little things here and there. It's essentially a phone for people who want the branding, right? You want the branding from the Barbie stuff, and that's about it. So, all right, let's continue. Jake, last question from Jake says, does anyone else wish that Apple will make a totally dumb flip phone like the 2780? I would love that. They won't. I mean, if they do, I'll be very surprised. But the reason why they won't is because your data is more profitable to them than selling you a piece of hardware. Apple is notorious for harvesting data, as Android is. So both smartphone operating systems are. And they just really want to get your data so they can sell it to advertisers. That's more valuable than selling you a flip phone. Although it will be cool to see what kind of concept they will come up with. But usually, that's just what it is. More questions is the Nokia 3210 available in the USA? No, it's not. HMD is not interested in making any candy bar or actually any advancements in the feature phone market in the United States. They sell these. And by the way, all of these are the same. The 2760 and 2780 and the Barbie phone are literally the same phone, just with minor cosmetic changes. And I believe the only change between the 2760 and the 2780 is this one has an SD card and this one doesn't. If you want a 3210 in the United States, just get a 2254G. It'll be the same phone with the same features, nothing new, because HMD is not interested in updating their phones. It's the sad truth. Okay. Next question. What does Apple have over Android generally? Honestly, popularity. I really don't think at this point in time in 2024, there are very many like big differences between both smartphone operating system. If anything, Android has more customization nowadays and more free apps. So it's a little bit better. But people like a status symbol, so sometimes they buy the Apple phone. Let's continue. FZ1330 says, what's the latest with the Fig phone or Mind phone? Good question. The Mind phone actually is going to be getting an update. Mindful phone. They are, I received an email a few weeks, maybe 2 weeks ago. They're going to be upgrading Mind OS to their 3.0 or 2.0 version. And they have made very good advancements into the device. This is still not the best device out there. But if you need a kosher phone, it's probably one of the best devices. That is for sure. For whatever reason, you need something that doesn't access certain apps or doesn't have even access to some of these things. Then, yes, this device is actually very good for that. But when you compare at $300 against other competitors like Sunbeam, like Lightphone, like even some of the upcoming phones that we'll talk about, like the Mudita Kompakt, then it's something that you should kind of look into it and kind of think about it. So, but they're releasing upcoming update. They're still on my list of companies that listen to the feedback and that want to make their phones better. Same thing with the Sunbeam wireless people. They are listening, they're making improvements, and they're doing the best they can to do the, again, kind of like how how they want to listen to the feedback. They're going to make the updates, and I believe they're going to be adding a certain version of maps. I don't know the exact version of maps that they're going to be talking about and kind of like looking into, but they are really interesting. It's really interesting. They're going to be looking into that. So we'll see once they do that update. I'll probably do a video because it's a massive update, right? Like, adding maps into a phone is quite an endeavor. It's quite a task, and it's something that is quite important. So yeah, let's see. Let's see what else. I don't understand this message from Virtdal. iOS screen time supplement that helps you set a hard to forget 4-digit passcode and retreat through a painful process of stuff searches. I think you're talking about password locker. Yeah, but I don't know where you started this thread, honestly. So I'll just kind of skip that. Yeah. Okay. Let's continue. Next one, Jake123. Another question. You're on a roll today. So it says, do you think the Apple Watch could be used as a dumb phone, the one with cellular? I think it's possible. I've done a video in the past about a smartwatch kind of being used. There was, so there is a project called TinyPod that kind of wants to implement this idea. So it's kind of like a case for your Apple Watch. And as you see right there, you have a scroll wheel to scroll on the watch itself. So phone, music, messaging, weather, that kind of stuff. The problem most of the time, in my opinion, is that as you see, like your phone away from phone, from phone. So the problem with the TinyPod, in my opinion, is that sometimes the battery life is not that great. And the other idea of using your Apple Watch as your only phone is that you're still really dependent on certain things you have to have an iPhone. So here is an example. There is a transit app called City Mapper, I think. Yes, it is called City Mapper. And so the City Mapper app, you have the ability to download it on your device. But the problem is that when you don't have your phone with you, it's unusable on the watch. So this is just one example. There are some other apps that kind of follow the same principle, which essentially, what happens is that you can download it, you can pair it with your watch and use it for most of the time. And again, you have access to some of these apps, of course, but they are not as reliable without the phone around. So it's a little bit of like, yes, some things will work, but some things won't work. So it's kind of like, that it kind of sucks, right? The price also, it's not horrible. It's about $79 for the one with the scroll wheel, or $29 with, like, it seems like a different material, a silicone case. But if you're going to go with this soft case instead of the hard case, I highly recommend you go with this Etsy case. Etsy, I saw it on Reddit, I believe. Here it is. Ha ha ha. I knew it. Very interesting, actually, but I don't know where the... there's a case. Aha, no. There's a discussion about this, by the way, on the digital minimalism subreddit. I'm not sure unless OP cut off the watch strap. This one's $38. Shouldn't be. I think maybe it is. There was one on Amazon. Let me see. Amazon.com. I think I found it. It's right here. Was it 40 bucks? No, there it is. 25 bucks. So this one right here, it's about $25 and it has like a power bank. So it's a little bit better. And yeah, so I would just get something that's cheaper than the 30 bucks, but that has more functionality. There was one on Etsy that was like, if I recall correctly, it was like $7. Case for Apple Watch. Let's see if we can find it here. Boom. There it is. And it honestly looks exactly the same as it would be on the TinyPod one. Like, if you look at it, it's pretty much the same case. Maybe a little different style. Like, this one has the aperture on the upper side, so it covers the full watch. But this one, has the aperture on the bottom side, so it's kind of like just a different design. But I mean, we're calling like it's a big difference from 30 bucks to $7. So I will just go with the $7 one personally if I'm just going to try it. And again, the problem is mainly like for me with these Apple Watch as phone, it's like you still need an iPhone to set it up. You still need an iPhone to make sure that some of these applications still work. You still need a lot of like these little things to kind of like have a good experience. You need to bring your iPhone with you. So if you can just keep your iPhone kind of locked and tucked away, fine, great. I think that would be actually amazing. But if you cannot, for whatever reason, then I don't think it's the best solution. All right, we'll do 3 more questions and then we'll go back to more updates. Yeah, we have a lot of updates today. All right. Next question. Okay, pricey maps. Ronnie and Ernie. LightOS used Android 8 fork from AOSP because of the low-powered Qualcomm chipset of the LP2 needing something stripped down. Will LP3s be the right from a later version of Android version? Yes, it will be. They haven't decided which one, the final version yet, but I believe it was somewhere between 12 and 13. I feel like that's where they're at. But don't quote me on that. I know that they haven't finalized all of those details, but it's going to have a later version of Android for sure. As far as I know, and I've discussions and that kind of stuff. So it's going to have better stack, a better compatibility for like a lot of the background stuff that they're trying to build. So hopefully that helps. So yes, it will be based later than Android 8.1. So there you go. Okay. Spretten says, I've been a bit torn between the Nokia 225 and the Nokia 3210, but it seems the one they stock here is the model that has the bug timestamps, the 225. Yeah. So that's a big problem with HMD. Let's go back to their offerings. So HMD. So let's go to N. UK, so like that, or UKN. Okay, there it is. That's fine. So they stock this one probably, the 225, which has a major bug that messes up the timestamps for all of these different things. So yeah, I agree with you. It's a little bit of a bummer. They sell you like this really nice marketing material, but at the end of the day, it ends up faltering and not having the best experience. Okay. Next one. 2 more. Let's see. You have to have an iPhone to set up your Apple Watch. Yes, we already covered that. TinyPod. We also covered this. Certain watch functions are dependent on being connected to your phone. Yes, they are. Some functions do not work if you don't have your phone around. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Another question. Let's see. Hard to find a replacement for my Nokia 2720 Flip. Any suggestions at Jose Briones? So I think you need WhatsApp. So it sounds like you need WhatsApp. So we're going to go to Dumbphone Finder. And if you have a 2720, I'm going to assume you are here in the United States. I'm going to assume that. And if you're not, please let me know right now as we do this. So I'm going to use the Dumbphone Finder, which I have separated now into different regions, by the way. I've separated them into the North American one, Europe, Asia, and Latin America. And they all look a little bit different. So, so we're going to go to WhatsApp and we're going to punch yes. And we're going to punch yes with either WhatsApp desktop or no WhatsApp desktop. Here are some of the options. I'm going to assume, Turi, that you are here in the US, and we're going to assume you want a decent phone, so 4 stars or 5 stars. Actually, we'll start with 5 stars to see if there's anything that shows up. Yep. So my recommendation is probably somewhere around the Kyocera Direct Stream, the Kyocera Digno 903KC, and I wouldn't recommend the TIC Mini M5. It's not that great physically. The build quality is not amazing, but if you want a candy bar phone, that probably will be the only option. So if you're here in the United States, those are the options. If we go to Europe, and we're just going to do it for Europe in the 4 and 5 star category, we're going to go to WhatsApp. Actually, it's going to require WhatsApp desktop because KaiOS is losing that. That's wrong. I need to fix that. I don't think the Emporia Prime can support WhatsApp, and this one definitely doesn't support WhatsApp anymore. Okay, I need to do a few upgrades here. I'll be doing that later today. Emporia Touch Smart, that's a good option right there. Doro 7030 or the TT Phone 970. Those will be my 3 options. Doro 7030 or 7080, TT Phone 970, or the Emporia Touch Smart. I have reviews on those devices. Those are probably the other options besides the Kyocera, the Kyocera devices, or something like the Jelly 2 may be something that you may want, in your life, depending on what it is. Or the Cat S22 Flip, that's probably another option right there. So there's some options to kind of go over there. Check out the Dumbphone Finder, and if you're in Europe, go to the European version. I need to fix a few things. I just checked in right here, but for the most part, it will give you, the best recommendations available. So hopefully that helps. All right, let's go to last question for now, and then we'll go over the next series of updates. So we'll kind of go over that. So last question is, do you think KaiOS will get RCS support? I don't even think KaiOS is going to survive this year. I'm being honest. So the KaiOS landscape is very, very precarious right now. KaiOStech.com. They continue to release certain devices. I think the latest one is this one from TrackPhone, the Blue Flex. But I'm going to be very honest with you guys, and I think KaiOS is on its way out. I think it may actually gain some traction and its final end of life. But without WhatsApp, this is essentially a dead platform, just being honest. Maybe if the, what's it called? If the, for example, if the Barbie phone sells thousands of units, maybe millions of units, then we will be talking about okay, maybe a comeback. But these are the latest KaiOS phones. I'm just kind of showcasing them just because, but I don't think KaiOS will ever get RCS. It's going to be very difficult to implement. And if it does, I'll be very surprised because they'll be putting a lot of resources into something that they have very little control over and that their platform is not, really going to support for a long term. So right now, I would I would not purchase any KaiOS device because it will just be very, it's going to be very difficult, for them to subsist without any kind of like WhatsApp support, and how KaiOS is just kind of like, going quite down. So there you go. Just some updates into that. Okay, let's go into more updates. This time around, after Q&A, 45 minutes. Oh, that was a nice Q&A right there, about 30-minute Q&A. 45 minutes, Mudita Kompakt. And then we'll do Wisephone. We're going to have a interview with the Wisephone people soon, so I'll introduce that project to you guys. So let's go to mudita.com. There's the Kompakt and the Mudita Kompakt. So I know that you guys are eager to know more about the Kompakt. Today is technically the day that showcased in the kind of mock-up. So September 23rd. Many people speculated that this is the day that the Kickstarter was going to be released. It's not. We're still, waiting on that. But Kickstarter is going to be essentially a 4.5-inch device. This device is going to, by all intents and purposes, you can see it on a lot of the apps, a lot of the UI, the way that it works. This is going to be running a certain version of Android. It's going to be a customized version of Android, and they're going to be kind of like grabbing it for privacy purposes. As far as I know, they are not, they haven't talked about any blocking of extra applications, but I am very positive that they will probably lock certain areas or challenge, if you want to do extra things with it, and like, I don't see them allowing you to install pretty much anything you want. Just an FYI, I'm pretty sure we're going to find a way, like we found a way with the Lightphone 2, like we're probably going to find a way with the Lightphone 3, like we found a way with many of the other phones, that have been released here and there. It's a kind of like reality that this device is running a certain version of Android. We don't know yet what, but how locked down it's going to be, we're just going to have to wait and see. But it does have some good features. Wireless charging, audio jack, dual SIM. It does have e-ink display, ebook reader, custom OS, again from Android. It has a compact form because it's a 4.3-inch device. That has the control panel button, which essentially allows you to kind of go over volume or temperature of the device, flashlight, yada, yada, yada. Has an offline mode, a kill switch. This is actually a kill switch, so you can continually disconnect pretty much everything, GPS, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all the software. So it's like an offline device. And it does have a fingerprint reader. I don't think I'm going to be using that, but it's kind of nice for those people that like to unlock their phone that way. So the device is definitely going to be e-ink. It's a good render of what the device looks like and how the device is going to work. Let me just say that. I'm really expecting to be, I can tell you, it's going to be well priced. So I'm excited about that portion at the very least. I cannot tell you how much, clearly, but I can tell you it's going to be a good price. And I'm really excited for them to release the Kickstarter because the price, I think it's good. And I think it makes sense. And I think a lot of people will be happy with that. So that's all I can say about the Mudita Kompakt. But I'm quite happy to see the development of this device. If you want to join for more updates, I highly recommend you go to the forum, forum.mudita.com. They have way more updates into the Kompakt and more discussion about it as well. As you see right there, there's a lot of discussion, people, talking about it, yada, yada, yada. And they're going to be coming in. They're going to be coming in with like, a few things here and there. But again, the campaign launch is happening quite soon and it's going to be very nice. I think you guys are going to be very happy about you know, how it all works. So stay tuned. It probably won't be long. I expect within the next month, you're going to see a lot of extra things for the Kompakt. And they're trying to be as careful as possible while at the same time, you know, having a good compatibility. There is one concern. I want to put it out there. Let me see, where is it? I think it's on the specs page. Let me go back. I need to find it. I need to find it. There is one thing that I'm like a little concerned about, but they said that they will be fixing some of these things. Let me go to the forum. I think I was discussing it with somebody into a thread, but I don't know where it is. No, it's not on this one. I think it's on this one. There's like a massive thread, and I've been engaging on and off. But there's one thing that I wanted to go over, and that is the bands. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So the bands, as of right now, are 5, 12, and 13. Let me show you the band compatibility just in my area so that you can see why this is a problem. So here in Denver, I'm just going to go to like Denver. Okay, where are we? Middle of nowhere. Yes, okay. All right, so let's just go to a metro area like Denver right here. And I'm just going to, dang it. All right, there it is again. And I'm just going to show you why this is not enough. They have said that they may, they're looking into, let's just look into T-Mobile. United States, 4G LTE, boom, there it is. Okay, so look at the bands that are available in this area. So first of all, the Mudita Kompakt has 5, 12, and 13 as of right now. I don't know if they're going to be adding bands, but if they don't, this is not adequate, and I'll show you why. So let's just go to like this area right here. This area is like near the freeway, so there's a big tower there. You know, it's going to cover this area right here. And essentially, this tower has 2, 4, 12, 66, and 71. Great. So as long as you're in this coverage area, you will be able to get 12. But as soon as you step out of that coverage area, or you step out of the freeway, let's say into a neighborhood like right here, you have bands 2 and 66 mainly covering. You do have an overlapping one right there, band 12 covering. So the problem is, if you don't have 2 bands, you're relying on only 1 band to cover in your area. And I mean, if you live in this, for example, right here, if you live in this quadrant right here, and you don't have band 2 or band 66, then this tower, or band 4, this tower is essentially defunct to you. It's not going to be useful at all. We're going to go over to the west a little bit more. Let's go to a more rural area now. Let's go to Idaho Springs. Yes, there you go. So if we're here in Idaho Springs, we have 2 towers, and one of them, boom, right there, it has 2, 12, 66, and 71. Perfect. It covers our area, but only up to a certain degree. So, you know, it depends on which quadrant and how far you wanted to take it. So 2 bands, meaning only having 5 and 12, it's not adequate enough, because once you step out of that frequency, you will not be able to actually have good coverage with the device. Now, band 12 is used in a lot of areas. You know, I'm going into more rural areas here. So like, it's kind of like, okay, what is actually used? So 12 still there. You know, if we go into a new tower, 12 still there. For example, right here, the only band is band 2. Okay, that's probably closer to the mountain, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, probably we're not going to use it as much. Understandable. But you don't want to only have 1 band to cling on. If you only have one band to cling on and that band goes south, I mean, these towers have multiple bands for a reason. They have redundancies in order for your phone to ping into them, right? So now, if you only have two bands to rely on and that band is not present in your specific area, then, for example, right here, right? So in this quadrant, you have 12, 66, 71. You're good. But this quadrant, let's see, south, 12 and 71, perfect. So you're going to be able to use it there. This tower is defunct, so it's not usable. Two bands, okay? A lot of strength coverage. Now that's with T-Mobile. Now I want to show you Verizon. This is actually a bigger problem in my opinion, but let's go to Verizon. Okay, 5 and 13, perfect. We have two bands right there. They match. 2, 5 and 13, 2 and 13, 2 and 66, 5 and 13, 13 and 66. So the major coverage of Verizon is there. The problem is, what happens when you're roaming? What happens when you're like looking into like other areas? I mean, here we're in New Mexico already. Yeah, I went all the way to New Mexico. I got out of Colorado. But again, it's just something to keep in mind. Having only two bands is not necessarily the best practice, in my opinion. And it's something that you need to consider. Once they release the full availability of all the bands, I hope that they correct this and that they have a little bit of a better understanding of how it's going to work. So just an FYI, and like, it's just something to look for. And okay, like, what am I going to have available? So for example, right here in this tower, right here in this quadrant, 2, 4, 66. There are a few other overlapping bands right here, but maybe not all of them are consumer based. So if you only have 2 and 66 and you don't have a real strong tower that goes into maybe the inside of your home, then you're going to be having an issue because you only have 2 overlapping bands per carrier. You want to have at least 3 or more overlapping bands per carrier. So I'll give you an example. Let's see, the Japanese phones, right? So let's go to the KaiOX. The Japanese phones, this is why they struggle here in the United States. Flip phones. Let's go to Kyocera, flip phones. Oh my gosh, $600 for the 903 just because it's in pink? Golly, that's a lot. Okay, so look at the Japanese phones right here. In the 4G network, these are made for Japan, of course. They have 1, 3, 4, and 8. Perfect. When we go here, I'm like 1, 3, 4, and 8. Oh no, 266, 5, 2, 5, 13. Oh, okay. I'm on Verizon. Let me go back to T-Mobile. Sorry, because they only work with T-Mobile because there's a reason. So now we're with T-Mobile, 2, 12, 66, 71, 2, 12, 66, 71. Okay, so essentially what this means is that it will not have any coverage in this area because this one only has the 1, 3, 4, and 18. So we need to find an area that has 4, essentially one band to make sure that it works, or it's going to be roaming on a different network. So right here in Castle Rock, south of Denver, it has 2, 4, 12, 66, 71. Perfect. That's a strong band. So in that quadrant, in all of this area, you're going to be able to use it. You're going to be able to use the 903KC. But that's my point. My point is like you cannot be depending only on one band because if that frequency goes offline, you don't have a phone. Okay. I just went over a lot. Hopefully that was not too boring, but just something to keep in mind. Right now, the Mudita the Kompakt, has been tested with these 2 bands, 5, 13, and 12. 3 bands. And that's it. So hopefully they improve that. If they don't, these bands are not sufficient in order to be able to use it for the United States reliably, in my opinion. In my opinion. Of course, you may be able to use it reliably in your house, but not throughout the United States or throughout a bigger area. So just something to keep in mind. I believe they're going to correct. I believe one of the people did talk about it. Here it is, Sharaz. He's a great guy. He said the FCC report doesn't reflect the final LTE bands for the Kompakt. Our team is currently working on validating the full range of supported bands, and there are indeed more LTE bands that the device will support, helping to improve coverage in and out of cities. When the testing is fully complete and verified, we'll update with a comprehensive list. So, again, they're going to be adding it, but just keep it with a grain of salt, because until the phone is super reliable, then you really don't know if it's going to work in your area. So don't buy a phone that you haven't researched and matched if you're going to have those things in your area. We're going to go over Q&A in just a second. But first, we're going to have a little break because I need some water. I'll be right back. All right, we're back from our intermission. All right, let's go over more phones that will be coming out. So let me put this timestamp at 1 hour and 3 minutes. Balance phone. Okay. 1 hour and 2 minutes. Sure. There you go. Okay, so now we have the Balance phone coming up soon. Actually, already on Kickstarter. I did talk to them, and we will have them. Is it balancephone.com? No, it's not. Okay, the Balance phone, maybe. The Balance phone. That's what it is. Yeah, I remember now. And they have a Kickstarter. So the Balance phone is a smartphone that is heavily customized. It's going to have, as they call, the essential apps. So it's going to have the ability to install work apps and email and Uber and WhatsApp and a lot of those things. But it's going to be completely blocked from all of the other apps that you don't want in your life. So for example, according to their website, they have Netflix, social media, Instagram. I think that's the Roblox logo, Bet365, and Adult Content Hub. If I say that word, I get demonetized, sadly. That's just how it works. But yeah, so it's going to be blocked. They have a application already that you could try this on your device. So there's an app. So it's on Android. So it has good reviews, actually. It has kind of shown like, oh yeah, I've been using this app, having this. Apparently there is some difficulties. So like very good app and concept, but adult content filter needs work. I have planned to install on my teenager's device, but after testing, whilst inbuilt blocker stops you viewing from images and video, GIFs are not blocked or filtered. So something to look into and to block. That's the promise. And the reason why, I just want to say, like, there's plenty of reviews that you can read and kind of go over. But their idea, right, is just to sell you a phone that has a filter and block for all of the addictives and websites and everything that is blocked. It does have NFC, and here are some of the extra things: dual SIM, camera, yada, 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 Android 14, etc., etc. And of course, very robust bands, because it's probably, it is a Chinese kind of like modified device. So like, it's kind of like they're getting a stock device that works pretty much everywhere in the world. And they're trying to like make sure that you don't have access to a lot of these little different things. So just kind of questions. Save your questions. We're going to have the founders of this project on Livestream next week. We're going to ask them questions and kind of like, just talk to them and that kind of stuff. So they have a phone, and it costs, I think it's like $300. Yes, 334, so 300 euros. So about 300 euros. And essentially, they're banking on community to give them suggestions and kind of like go over all of these different things and block these social media apps and block the apps that you don't want on your phone, like entertainment, that kind of stuff. And this is the apps that they're blocking. I guess it doesn't show though. Streaming, games. It just goes back. I think they haven't built this. Oh, no, there it is. Social media, these are the apps that get blocked. Streaming, these are the apps that get blocked. Games, FIFA, even FIFA, or Pokemon Go. Man, some people use that too. Betting, and of course, adult content. If you're ready to regain your freedom, go check it out, right? So we're going to have them to talk about this project. My idea or my kind of thinking about this is you can already do this if you want to, but if you're paying for somebody to maintain a list of constantly distracting apps and all this stuff, I think it's a good filter, especially if you get the phone itself. I wouldn't get the app, and I'll tell you why. You probably already know why. And it is because of, I don't think if it shows. No, that's privacy, data safety, productivity. Where is it? Right here. In-app purchases, $32.99 to $54.99 per item, meaning it does have a subscription. So I don't agree with subscriptions. I don't like subscriptions. I prefer to buy something and own it as much as possible. And I prefer that, I would buy the phone because that has no subscription to it. It's just the device preloaded with their software that cannot be removed. Whereas if you have an app and you want to remove it and you're still stuck with the subscription for a little while and you don't use it, and then you kind of remove it around whatever it is that you want. So so it's a good concept, a good idea to a certain degree, but at the same time, I prefer to buy something physical. And if you need access to some of these things, if you know how to manipulate Android with Android ADB, you can do this on your own, and you can just keep the phone that you want. You can install a simple launcher, that kind of stuff. Honestly, I feel like one of these days I'm just going to do a video on that, or a live stream of hey, let's customize this phone from scratch all the way into kind of make it work like that. Man, today's my voice. Okay. All right, let's continue. What's one more phone? Oh, yes, one more phone that we're going to go over in the digital minimalism space as well. I don't have it yet. I will be getting one. It's the Wisephone 2. This phone has been out there for a few days. Spencer Scott has a video on it. Let me show you. Where is it? Balance phone early look. Oh, he doesn't have. He removed it? No. He had a video on the Wisephone. I don't know where it is. This is interesting. Okay, let's see. Wisephone 2. Maybe it was a live stream? Ah, there it is. It was a live stream. That's why it's not showing up in his, whatever. Let's take out the... I hope you can see this. Yes. So he got the phone, and as you see right here, further into it, it's a... I want you to see the animation screen. So when he turns it on, not there, maybe even further. There it is. Haha. So, like I said before, this is a Samsung Galaxy A15, and it's secured by Knox. So what they're doing is they're using the Knox platform in order for their device to load. They have, as you see, a kind of like a minimal home screen with messages. There's duplicate messages, and the reason why is because they have their own messaging application, but they also have to have, I think, the messaging application from Samsung. And they have double the phone right here as well for that same reason, because they have the Samsung application, but they also have their own phone application. So that's a little bit confusing, but it's just kind of like how it works. It essentially it comes with like all of the Play Store, like, and kind of like all these things. But whenever you get into it, you can only install the applications that are approved by the Play Store that they have approved. So they have a list of applications, yada, yada, yada. You can go see this video. It's about 10 minutes long. It's not super long. And probably he's going to be doing a lot of these different things. So as you see right there, Knox Manage, which is the application from Samsung, which you can manage a lot of these apps. So they're essentially using what is called an MDM. This is called a mobile device management. Actually, anyone can do this. So, it's not something that it's specific to Wisephone. So mobile device management. Oh, give me 1 second. I need to update the timestamp. 1:10. I just like to not go too deep into it. Wisephone 2. So the mobile device management allows you to essentially manage remotely. This one is called Miradore. I've used this before because it's free, up to 50 devices. So if you want to kind of like have 50 devices on your, if you want to have 50 devices, 50 of your friends, and you want to manage theirs for free, which essentially means that you block all of the installations and you just configure it whichever you want. And this is for both Android and iOS. I highly recommend that you give it a try. So this is like kind of like an easier way to do ADB, because it does it through a custom interface that you are able to do. So I highly recommend that you give it a chance, but that's essentially what they're doing. They're using some management from Samsung in order to not have some of these things. They still have some of the kind of like plans, which you can kind of help them with. If you want to bring your existing carrier, they're still charging you $14 to manage this service. Now, as I show you here on Miradore, let's say they have, I don't know, 800 people, right, that they're going to be managing this for. Like this, let's say they're decently successful in their release. It costs them $3.30. They're charging you about $14. That's a pretty healthy profit margin for you to have the peace of mind that they're not going to let anything that you don't want into your phone. And if you want to pay them the other stuff, it's up to you. I wouldn't, because again, you can do this by yourself, and it's just something that is just kind of interesting how they're doing it, right? Apparently they're full for their next deliveries, and they have been delivered to a lot of people. I have a friend that has it. He's testing it. Not super impressed by it because, again, it has the performance of a Galaxy A15, but it's interesting, they are releasing something now, and they are at least putting it out there. There are a few things that I would like you to, I just want to give you information. At the end of the day, I like to thrive into that transparency mode, that giving you information is the best thing that I can do. And I want to show you a post by somebody from the community that honestly, I think that it's quite it's quite concerning. And maybe we'll have to invite Chris to dissipate some of these difficulties that they're having. Every company goes through difficulties. Making phones is really hard. A lot of us think that, oh, hey, they're just getting a Chinese manufacturer and like getting it out there, whatever, but it's a little bit more difficult than that. And I just want to put that into context. So give me 1 second. I'm going to drink some water. So let's go over. I'll go over questions, by the way, after this. I'll go over a good amount of questions. So just put them there. So there was a user called Taze the OG, or Taze the Og, whichever one you want to pronounce it. I looked into this, and he said, these are some red flags, and I agree with some things are red flags, and other things are, to a certain degree, just startup problems. So he said that the company is severely losing money. I'm not necessarily concerned about that. Most startups lose money for years. I mean, Uber just turned profitable. Of course, that's a massive company. Techless is not a massive company, but it's like losing money. It's like, well, if you're fundraising and like, that kind of stuff, it's a problem. But the problem was mainly that the platform that they're using is raising money from everyday people, which are more like personal investors. That's a little bit concerning because when you're going into venture capital, that's actually, they are taking the risk, right? But when it's kind of like if it's regular people or like a platform like WeFunder, there's a little bit more of like, do you really need to go into like that platform instead of just going to venture capital? Because if venture capital doesn't want to invest in you, then do you really have a, process or like, it's kind of like concerning, right? Anyways, you have a few things for their team, kind of like some of the stuff. This is where I was like, oh man, like this is a lot of people are leaving, like, so their CPO and CTO left earlier this year, president left in 2022, CMO left in 2023, yada yada yada. Like, I mean, there's a lot of like, oh my gosh, like a lot of people are leaving, like, a lot of people are having, different things. So I would say just do your research, as always, into the companies. No company's perfect, and just kind of like. It's just something that's very important to kind of look into it. So I would say go look into this post by Taste the OG, and look into it because I think it's interesting to see the financials, just to see who left and how much time they stayed there, and that kind of stuff. Because it kind of puts you into perspective, like, okay, if I order this $399 phone, how long is it going to be supported? What's the plan after that? If it fails, that kind of stuff. It's just something to keep in mind. I don't have any doubts that they're delivering the phones and they're probably turning a profit. The Galaxy A15 costs, somewhere around, let's see, $199. So yeah, it costs $200. They're selling it for $400 with their customizations, with their customized OS, like, all the good stuff right there. So I think it's they have a healthy profit margin to make this a viable product, and hopefully they do. But again, it's always good to have more information, and it's always good to be like, hey, you know what? Like, I really don't know. Do I really trust this company? Are they going to be in the market for a while, et cetera, et cetera. Again, you could do this yourself, and I've always said that, even on my initial review of the Wisephone, but I'm glad that they are at least delivering on their devices and hopefully fulfilling their promises in the future. It's just something to keep in mind, and like, again, learning AEB is probably better for you and for how you want to do it. But if you want somebody to do it, at least you have options. You have the Techless Wisephone 2, you have the Balance phone, you have, Unplug, which is another company. You have the Brick. You have a lot of companies that have been coming and making good things. One of my favorite ones, and we have had Royce here, is ClearSpace. I honestly think that they're doing a lot of good stuff because they're trying to build slowly and do it from like different perspectives. But I do like them personally because they have new features. They're always trying to create new stuff. And also, I think they just released, it was on maybe in the blog. No. They have like a few things of like how it works. Like, I mean, you can try it out. This is for iPhone. I don't think they have released anything for Android, but this is one of the companies that I'm like, you know what? Like Royce has been doing a good job. They have this feature where, let me find it for you guys. Google ClearSpace push-ups. There it is. So with the ClearSpace app, you have to do push-ups if you want to scroll, right? So like, let me see. Let's see on X. So here it is. So like, hey, you want to keep using TikTok? It tells you, hey, give me 20, right? So it's kind of like a health-based exercise. So you're like, and it tracks you like, okay, you're doing 7, 8, 9, 10 push-ups, whatever it is. And then you're going to be able to use whatever app it is that you want. So it kind of stays connected with your goals and that kind of stuff. So I think that's kind of cool. That's really cool. And also they have squats to scroll as well, I guess. Or maybe they are requesting some of this stuff, right? Or they have squat challenge. Can we do squats instead of push-ups? What's the number one response? So here it is. Oh, it is there. So again, some of these things are coming up. Very, very interesting, very important. So yeah, I like them. I really like what Royce and company are doing. It's quite different, and they're trying to like make it very, very decent. All right, time for Q&A number 2. If you have any questions about everything that we have talked about, glad to talk about these things. 120 Q&A 2. All right, let's go back. And then I really don't think I have any other. There haven't been any new devices, so I haven't been testing a lot of new things. I think I have one coming in the mail, but it's kind of like, it's called the Blue Joy. I'll show you what it is. It's on Amazon. It's like $40. I'll be reviewing it. It's a Thread X device, so nothing amazing or something that I'm like really looking forward. But it's kind of like a simple device. So this one is the one, Blue Joy. I purchased it today, I think. Yeah, so it should be coming in the future to my house. And it has a few bands here and there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 4, that kind of stuff. T-Mobile, most likely, going to be the only device. It's not the greatest device on earth, but I mean, it's another device that's available out there. So something to look into. All right. Q&A. Let's go for it. Brave Star says you need to get an interview. No. That's before. Let's see. Oh, yes, we're going further up here. Brave Star says, have you reached out to the Mudita team to do an interview with them about the Kompakt? Will be nice to see a demo of the device. Yeah. So I am hoping to eventually, once more information is released and we're into the Kickstarter process and all of that stuff, I'll be working with them to kind of, get more publicity, get a Q&A, that kind of stuff. Some good stuff is going to come down your way. I've been working with them kind of behind the scenes and talking to them a little bit here and there, about the process, about what's going to be happening. So I'm really excited. And again, like I said, I think everybody will be happy about the price. So hopefully once more details are released, we can schedule something. So it's on my radar. Let me just put it that way. Jacob says, do you have any indication of when Light will release updates on their DVTs and PVTs like they did with their EVT? And by those of you that don't know what the DVT, PVT means, it's design, verified test, the design, final design, and also their production verification test, like they did with their engineering sample. So if you go to the Livephone page, they'll explain some of that. So the Livephone menu, phones, blog. So engineering, validation, test, production. They kind of went over like what happened with, kind of like how they're doing it and making it. And the next steps. Yes, they will be talking about their design verification test, their production test, a lot of that good stuff. My expectation is you will see a design verification test sometime in the next month. So now in October, you'll see an update. There are a lot of hurdles that they're trying to clear with their Livephone 2 production and some of their software stuff that has been kind of like behind schedule. So hopefully they'll go over that first, and then they'll be showing some extra updates. So in the next few weeks, you probably will see an update for them. That's my expectation, at least. So that's what I can share. Okay, next question. Let's see. Hagilar says, I just got the Cat 22 Flip, waiting to activate it next month when more iPhone people upgrade to iOS 18 with RCS. Yes, actually. It's going to be interesting to see a lot of these dumb phones that have, for example, like this one, the Free Mode Retro 2. When you go to the messaging application, you have access not only to the spam protection and all the stuff that Google Messages has, but you have also to pair it, and you also have RCS chats, as you see right there. This is not available because I don't have a SIM card in it, but when you put a SIM card in it, you have the ability to actually get a lot of information back and forth. It'll be interesting to see how RCS works on the Dumbphone side of smart devices like this one, which I'm kind of interested to see how it all works out. So yeah, that's a good thing. Let's see. More questions. Let's go look for questions. Sebastian says, it's my first time here. What are you doing? So we talk here about dumb phones, about digital minimalism, and a lot of little different things here and there. So that's what we do. We talked about different products, and I do reviews. So hopefully that helps you. And, usually when we have more new dumb phones, I do more demos. But right now, there's not a lot of big updates that have happened. So not a lot of demo right now. Let's go for Adrian. Have you used Dumbify on iPhone? Yes, I have. I think it's a good app. At the same time, I also think that you should look into alternatives. There are some new alternatives, and there's one that is free. So if you've been looking for that, highly recommend. Let's look into, it's called the Smile App Launcher. Product Hunt. Maybe I can find the... free minimal iOS. Let's see if there's a link for the App Store. No. What's it here? Yep, there it is. Smile App Launcher, minimal launcher. Here I can showcase a little bit of the YouTube and how it works. You set it up, and it will have a widget for calendar, for whatever it is that you need. You edit. Again, he has a very nice video of showcasing how it works. And there it is, calendar clock. You want to open it. You want to move it around, yada, yada, yada. And it does, again, it's free. So that's personally one of my favorite things. You can essentially do the widget whichever way you want, and you can dumbify your phone. I did have a conversation with the Dumbify person, the person that created the Dumbify app, not the Smile App Launcher app. And they're pretty similar products. I just want to give you two different ones because Dumbify is good. It's a one-time payment. And then you have Smile App Launcher, which is free. The thing is, when you kind of think about it, right, is, well, who's going to be doing it for more time? So clearly, Envelop, they are having 3 apps that they're working on, whereas Dumbify is a paid project, and there's one person behind it, and it's paid. So which one are they more motivated to keep it working, and that kind of stuff? Yeah, I don't know. It's just something to think about and to kind of look into. So Dumbify is good, one-time payment. I prefer that over subscriptions, of course. But there's also one that's free. Play around with it, see which one has better compatibility and features for what you need in your life. And I think it's a good system to, a good system to kind of go half and half between hey, I still need access to certain apps and, that kind of stuff. All right. Let's see. Let's continue. Dumb phones shouldn't be more than $100. Yeah, it depends. I don't know, Josh. I mean, I disagree with you in certain respects, but ideally, yes, it shouldn't be more than 100, 150. The problem is, if you want a company to truly be behind the product, you need to pay a little bit more than that. So it is what it is. All right. Next question. Ali, will the Balance phone allow a web browser but block the content listed on the web browser? Yes, that is the point of the Balance phone. So let's go back to the Balance phone. So as you see, they have Google Maps, Spotify, yada, yada, yada. And maybe here on the Kickstarter is that it showed their, I think it showed Chrome. I don't know. They have a thing. They have a demo. Balance on home screen, blocks addictive apps. Addictive website. There it is. Let me see if I can go further. Chrome. Ooh, maybe I lost it. Okay, there it is. It says, hey, go to x.com. Boom. This website is blocked, and then it doesn't allow you to actually look into it. So that's how they're going to do it. They're going to be blocking the website from the root URL. You can look it up. You can try to look it up, but it's not going to let you do that because it's going to intercept it and say, hey, this website is not allowed, which is just a customization that they probably do on the OS level. It's going to be helpful in that way. So there you go. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. AK says Dumbphone review, best Dumbphone so far. Oh, that's a good question. Best Dumbphone so far. So I would say it depends, but if you're just merely looking for like a very basic device, I think something along the lines of like super basic. A KaiOS device is fine with me, honestly. Like I think let's go to 5-star devices. So I think the TCL Flip 2, that's a good phone right there, based on Android, very flexible, very nice to use. The LG Classic, that's another one that is very good in my opinion. Something that you can probably get. These are my 5-star devices, kind of like phones that I consider extremely good. But probably if I had to pick a best dumb phone for price, availability, customizable, etc., somewhere between the LG Classic and the TCL Flip 2. I think you can't beat them for the price because they're so customizable. They're so easy to use, but they're still dumb. Like they don't have a touchscreen. They don't have like these things that you can interact with. They're pretty basic. If you want to go a little bit more in price, of course, the Livestream 2, contender for best dumb phones. Sunbeam F1, they listen to the feedback. I like the Pro better than the F1 regular. I feel like the Pro is better built, and I like it better in the hand, how it feels. So probably that's better. Japanese phones definitely are up there as well, but you know, it kind of depends on how much you want to spend. So there you go. Kind of like a roundup of the best, but the TCL Flip 2 and the LG Classic are really hard to beat because they're super flexible, but they're also very, very inexpensive. All right. Let's see. Let's continue. Is that the Galaxy A15? Yes. For the Wisephone 2, yes, that's correct. And I think you asked if it's 5G. I believe it's a 5G variant. Yes, it's the latest one. Sean Harta says, I've had the F21 for the past year. Should I be concerned about security concerns because it's not going past Android 11? Good question. There's a good article. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. I'm trying to see. Yeah. Okay. This is a decent one, I guess. So let me put it into like different categories, right? So like the Android updates, I think this is a good explainer probably. Yeah, I'll put it in the link. This is a decent enough article. It's not the one that I was thinking, but it's good enough. Give me a second. Let me see where you guys are at. So let me go over this idea, right? So why are security updates important? So the first thing is Android security updates are important because there are people in the world that want to take advantage of your data, your personhood, and who you are in order for their financial gain, right? Like they want to pose as you, they want to extract information from you, and they want to kind of like make sure that you are they're using your information for their profit. So with that said, different manufacturers update their devices to the latest fixes. Now, when you have a dumb device, something very, very, very cheap and inexpensive, the chances of you being targeted are low because there's not a lot of data in the device that is useful for people. So let me put it into context. If you have again, we ended up here, hmd.com. Let's just put it here. If you have a Nokia 2254G, there is very little information in this device besides your text messages and who you called that people are really not going to extract a lot from it. So because of that, it's not like you have nothing to fear, but unless you're sharing passwords via text message, which you shouldn't do, by the way, or sharing compromising pictures of yourself, of others via text message, which you also shouldn't do ever, there is very little chance that somebody wants to extract information from this device in order to gain some financial advantage against you. So the question that you should ask about your Xiaomi F21 Pro is, what kind of information do I have in this device that if somebody were to gather it, I would be at jeopardy? It would be bad for me. It would not be the best kind of a thing. So you should have security concerns if you have very sensitive information on your phone. If you don't have sensitive information on your phone, I'm not saying that you don't have to be concerned about security or privacy. What I'm saying is, like, there is a lesser likelihood that people are wanting to exploit your phone for those things. So for example, if you have a banking application and you type in your password via your phone, of course you don't want to do that. Why? Well, it's not as secure on a device that has not been receiving updates for a while, because somebody could control that device and then gain your banking information and financial stuff. So that's what these, kind of like updates are for. So, here are some kind of like ideas, right? This was a security vulnerability that allowed attackers to gain access to an Android smartphone by sending a specially crafted MMS. So that was in 2015. This was fixed with Android 5.02. This was fixed with Android 6.02. This was fixed with version 8 of Android 2017. Android 10 fixed this strand hog flaw, right? Like, a strand hog vulnerability allowed bad actors to impersonate legitimate apps, giving them a pass to steal your data for those apps. So again, it's all about what do you have in your phone, what kind of data you have in your phone, and whether you think that data is sensitive enough in order for you to lose money, lose your identity, be scammed, be impersonated, or be taken advantage of in different ways. There are other areas as well, like your privacy. You don't want to divulge the relationships that you have, or the bank accounts that you have, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, you need to practice digital hygiene when it comes to those things. For those of you not knowing that, digital hygiene, there's a checklist out there for cyber hygiene. So just look into it. What you should do: keep your software up to date, keep your antivirus up to date. That's probably not that important nowadays with, most of the operating systems be okay. Firewall, two-factor authentication, password manager. Actually, I think this is probably one of the biggest ones. Use strong passwords and use password manager. Your passwords should not be made by you anymore. You should have something like Bitwarden, which allows you to have not only a password manager, but something that makes a random password that you're not doing, here and there. So again, these are, kind of like some ideas, 12 commandments of more digital secure life. So should you be concerned that your device doesn't have the security that you want? Yeah, if you have very sensitive data. If you're just exchanging text messages here and there with your friends and there is nothing compromising, and you're practicing good digital hygiene at the same time, probably not that big of a deal or like a massive deal, right? So, you know, just an idea. Okay. Let's continue. Florencia says, are the chin phones trustable? Again, this kind of goes in the same line. It depends what kind of information you're putting into the phone. If you're putting sensitive information, these phones are not 100% trustable. Or like, you know, they're trustworthy to a certain degree. But I would say my confidence is around 80%. If you are going to have very sensitive data, I wouldn't put it there. That's just my personal perspective. So, you know, just FYI. All right. Let's continue. More questions. Let's see. 20 push-ups to call emergency services. That's funny. Laura says, Laura, who she has a channel also on digital minimalism. She says, I love the health challenges to scroll. I need this for YouTube. Yeah, it's good. I think she has been testing a flip phone, kind of like one of the smarter ones. You know, so that's just something to kind of go into. Let's see. We have a dumb BlackBerry lookalike. When? Good question. There was a guy that just posted this. It's called the Razorberry. Razorberry. And it's like a half keyboard for a BlackBerry and then a flip phone connected via Bluetooth, and you have that right there. So you are able to connect them and kind of use them for whatever it is that you want. And he kind of goes over, like, he has a Discord server, pop socket, metal plates, that kind of stuff. And, you know, kind of understand how it works. This is probably the closest thing, or the minimal phone. The minimal phone is the probably other one that kind of is like a BlackBerry look-alike. You know, it has a screen and then it has a keyboard. So those are the only twos that are coming. All right. Sleek. Yes. Good question. From, let's see, who was it? Victor. Yes. So we have the Sleek phone. Yes, they are. I believe they're sold out on their beta. Last call to join the beta. I guess they have maybe one or two limited run. I don't know how many they have, but they have a limited run for the beta. Now it's 444. I believe it's gone up from 333. But they are continuing. They're releasing a lot of alpha, you know, a lot of different things. They have my review there. Thank you for that, guys. But yes, they're continuing to work on it. They're still not ready for release as of right now, but they're very close for a wide general release. They have added a lot of whitelisted applications into their device. I think I have it here. Yes, I do. I can show you guys a little demo of their continued improvement. Give me 1 second. So this is their phone. And as you see right there, they have the store and maps and, like, you know, all of these things. But they have added a lot of, like, different applications. Oh, give me 1 second. That was a little off. And Latch, HP Smart for the printers, Nanit, Open Board, Reptel International Calls, Simple Calendar, Uber, Christian Audio, MStream, OnX, Off-Road Trail Maps and GPS, Zipcar. As you see, like, there's a lot of apps that they have added, and it's continuing to grow. So they're continuing to do this, and they continue to have a good system with their questions. So here, let me put, let's see, who's playing? Colorado Rockies. Colorado Rockies. Next game. Web search. And right there, Colorado's going to the next game for tomorrow, September 24 at 7:40 against the Cardinals. there you go. This is kind of like a tool that they have for you to not need a browser. They also have a few other things like a contact card, and they also have a QR code reader here at the top. So if you can read QR codes for menus and that kind of stuff, which opens a single page with no browser, and that kind of stuff. And yeah, so like they have some of these kind of like basic apps and extra apps that you can install on the Sleek store. And they have blocked, I believe they have blocked the APK installation. So now the phone is not allowing you to install your own applications, only the ones found on the store. So yeah, kind of happy with the product so far. Continue to test from time to time, but nothing major. They still have, these. Of course, this is based on Android, right? So nothing amazingly aesthetic, but they're still working on it. Like, kind of like seeing what they work on. So yeah. All right. Last set of questions, I guess, and then we're good to go, guys. Thank you for being in the live stream. Last few questions says, Andrew Rock says, what are your hopes or concerns for the minimal phone? My hope is that they deliver when they say that they will deliver. My concern is that they're trying to be too optimistic and that they are not being realistic with their timeline. I hope that they change that. I hope that they showcase a demo. And once they do showcase a demo, then, I'll probably start talking about it a little bit more and being like, okay, this looks good, or the performance is not that great. Should you spend $400 in it? I don't know. So I think I have concerns about the performance, knowing the processor, knowing the e-inks display, knowing a few of these things, and the RAM. We'll kind of have to wait and see. All right. More questions. Localhost says, are these the default apps from Graphene OS? I think they are. I think they base their build from Sleek is based on Graphene OS, and they customize it on their own kind of thing. So yeah. Let's see. Let's see more questions. Not a lot of more questions. You guys are talking about a few things like the Blackberries, or you can get a Unihertz Titan, which I agree with. If you want a keyboard, probably a Unihertz Titan Pocket will be your best bet. It has the keyboard. It has the kind of like little different things here and there. It's $269. So if you really want a QWERTY keyboard, this is probably your best bet. Customize it with ADB and, make it as smart or as basic as you want it. Yeah. Let's see. Last question, I guess. Andrew Rock. Yeah, good question. I like that. What's your dream phone? My dream phone is probably somewhere along the lines of a Xiaomi F21, that design. I like the candy bar design with the software from the Light phone, something like that, with RCS though. That's one thing that I wish that the Light phone will have. I don't really care that much that it doesn't have RCS. It doesn't interfere with my life that much. But I do love their software. I do love the simplicity of the Light phone software. I mean, as you see right here, here's their video for their sample, right? This is the sample video that they have. And I just love the black and white and some of the services and that kind of stuff. But if we could have an F21 with very basic service, very basic ideas like the Light Phone 2 team does, and it's just clickable and it's really nice, maybe voice to text in order to not use the T9 so much, then yeah, I mean, I think that's it for me. I think I like candy bar phones over flip phones. That's just a personal preference. And I do love the software from the Light team. They do really great software. Of course, it has bugs and like a few things that you have to get used to. So not the end of the world for me, but I know for some people it is. But I just love like the design language that they have and a few of the things. As you see right here, this is their new phone, the Livestream 3. But yeah, that will be kind of my dream phone. Something like the aesthetic of the Xiaomi F21 Pro. So let's look it up here. Yeah, something like this, where it's kind of sleek. You know, it has that life, but instead of having Android here, it has like a customized version, very basic operating system with all the utilities that you need. Like I like the utilities in the Livestream 2 or in the whatever is going to come in the Livestream 3. I think those are great, you know, like music, podcasts, just tools, nothing distracting, nothing too distracting, honestly. That's something that I personally would like. So yeah, that's a good click, you know. I like that. More questions. LOL cat host. I feel like it says local host, but it says lolcat host. What do you think of the new Mudita phone that's coming out? I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a good middle place for a lot of you who want a touchscreen device and want to have a better, you know, kind of like a very minimal experience as much as possible with some utilities here and there. And I think the price is going to be great. So let me just say that. I'm going to keep hyping it because I think they do have a good pricing system. And I think it's going to be a good, enticing thing for a lot of you. So, yeah. Let's see. Sean Hartha says, I added the minimalist phone app of my F21 Pro to make it more like what you're describing. Yeah. If you use a launcher, it does give you that vibe. I do like that phone. I do like the feel of that phone is really good. The clickiness, it's pretty much a really great phone. I just wish it had a better company behind it that did more updates, you know, on it. Last question, does the Livestream 3 have a headphone jack? It doesn't. Sadly, it doesn't. It's kind of like sad, but it is what it is. All right, everyone. Thank you for being here for the live stream. I hope it was helpful to you guys. I hope you learned something. There are timestamps out there. If you need to revisit any of the topics, I always like to leave those there just in case. And yeah, there's some fun devices out there. Hopefully, you get to try them. Oh, one more thing I need to say about the Freetel Mode Retro 2 is that it does have a fingerprint sensor right here. Has the fingerprint sensor, and it also has NFC, which I was like, man, that's really cool. Like, you know, it does have NFC. So if you're in Europe, you're in Asia, you're in anywhere but the United States, this device is honestly becoming one of my favorite ones, and I think it's quite worth it. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the time that we had here. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll be interacting with you guys. And I have a few phones, nothing super exciting, but I have a few in October. We'll have a few reviews out there for you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.